Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are listening to this. I am Triggerman 1976, and I want to get this out because the Non Alchemist thinks he's discovered something new. And it's not really new, as any other atheists have tried to make arguments as well, which you'll see here momentarily. In his video, titled, very provocatively, God is a Liar. And in this video, he sets out to, quote, poke holes in the supposed moral perfection of this deity. Well, how does he plan to do this? By highlighting what is known as the problem of divine deception. Well, what is the problem of divine deception, you might ask? Well, there are a number of instances in Scripture where Yahweh is portrayed as being unambiguously deceptive in either intention or action, or outright expressing an intent to deceive someone. Such instances seem to fly in the face of the proclamations that God cannot lie, proclamations we find in Numbers 23:19, 1 Samuel 15:29, Malachi 3:6, Romans 11:29, Titus 1:2, Hebrews 6:18, and James 1:17. So, what about those instances where God does seem to deliberately engage in falsehood and actively deceiving people? Well, the Non Alchemist gives us a few examples, such as Ezekiel 14:9 and 1 Kings 22. But here, I only want to address 1 Kings 22, because in 1 Kings 22, the prophet Micaiah, in foretelling the outcome of a looming battle, takes the reader into the divine court, where Yahweh announces his plan to kill the wicked Judahite king Ahab, and basically calls for suggestions from the floor on how best to accomplish this. And one spirit has the idea of becoming a, quote, lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. 1 Kings 22:22. What's interesting here is that NA seems to provide his own refutation by quoting from Robert Alter's commentary on the Hebrew Bible at this point.
Explains. This story puts forth a theological explanation of false prophecy. A celestial spirit answers God's call and volunteers to lure Ahab to his destruction by putting a false message in the mouths of the 400 prophets claiming to speak the word of the Lord. By means of this contrivance, everything in this story is seen to be determined by God, and the false prophecy is not merely the human initiative of prophets seeking to curry the king's favor.
Well, that leaves us with a question. How can believers reconcile this apparent disjunction between the claim that God is incapable of lying, but can and does engage in deception? If God does, in fact, not lie, then believers are simply taking him at his word, such as in Deuteronomy 13:1-3, where Moses is warning the Israelites about the reality that false prophets will arise and perform signs and wonders among them in order to seduce them to abandon Yahweh. And he closes with this warning: you shall not listen to the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams, for the Lord your God is testing you to know whether you love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. Essentially, this is God warning his people that if they're not loyal in their relationship to him, it will be exposed and there will be consequences. And this is something that gets highlighted in the New Testament, which N.A. points out, noting in 2 Thessalonians 2:11, which he quotes as, God sends them a strong delusion so that they may believe what is false. But there's more to it. The entire passage reads, because they refused to love the truth and so be saved, therefore God sends them a strong delusion, so that they may believe what is false, in order that all may be condemned who did not believe the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. Notice this is God's response to the obstinate and adulterous at heart. He gives them what they really want, the lie. And of course, he gives them all the emptiness that accompanies it. What we need to recognize is that divine deception is just one tool in God's toolbox. and it's an effective tool for exposing weakness and disloyalty. And it can be used to move the stubborn and fearful to accomplish the task that he desires for them to accomplish. Jerome Neary notes in biblical social values and their meanings. Outward appearances are unreliable. People carefully distinguish between outer and inner, appearances and reality. Appearances, then, are deceptive. Exteriors do not match interiors. But deceit invites revelation of the truth and the unveiling of secrets hidden. People disguise the evil within. One resolves the problem of their ambiguity by penetrating their disguise and revealing their hidden corruption. Deception is thus a means for exposing one's enemies. So, to answer NA's accusation, the answer is a resounding no. God cannot lie, but he also cannot abide a liar in his presence, and he will expose them. Well, that's all I have for today. Remember, all the links are in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Again, I'm Triggerman1976. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Triggerman1976, where you will find links to all my content. Thanks for watching.